Hey everybody, welcome to Let's Cosplay Ivy Valentine, and in this installment we're going to be making a start on a sword. Firstly, I'm really cold, hence the big massive warm jumper. I'm really cold and I'm right Scrooge when it comes to putting the heating on. I'd rather wear like 3 jackets instead of wasting money on heating. So I apologise for the state I look right now. But as for Ivy's sword, I've actually already, well, I've kinda made a start on it that I haven't recorded, only because I wasn't busy in work and I got really bored, and I had a lot of time. Well, I had like about an hour, so I started on it. Now, you didn't miss anything fun at all. It's literally all the tedious, boring stuff, but I'm going to show you pretty much what I did. Anyway, I don't have a pattern, an exact pattern or anything for anyone who actually wants to make this themselves, because I've literally winged this off the top of my head. So, and I can't remember how I did it. But I started by making that. If I can fit it on. There we go. It's there we go. It's a template for Ivy Blade. And this is literally 3 sheets of A4. It's that long. Woo. But yeah, and I pretty much spent ages making sure this was the right size and marking out each section. Now, I've been asked if I'm going to be making Ivy's sword in the sword form or the whip form, and the answer to that is yes. I am going to be making it in the sword and the whip form. You might be wondering how, because, well, it's just how would I make that? But I have a plan. You're not going to see it, obviously, straight away, because this is step by step and I've yet to build anything. But as the episodes go on, the parts go on, you'll see. So I've pretty much marked out every single section of the sword, and I have a lot. I'll show you. Wait, you're going to love this. A lot of paper. That's how much paper it doesn't look that much on camera, but there's a lot of sheets there of how much. I tweaked around with the size of it loads. I scanned it in loads. Oh dear, I nearly dropped everything. Scanned it in loads to resize everything onto the computer. And I ended up like with loads and loads of templates. And in the end, I have actually cut out every single piece that I have for her sword, and it's all numbered, See? But goodbye, number 7. There you are. But pretty much that is every single piece for her actual sword, minus the handle and the hilts. But that's that. There's the other half of the actual sword, because I already said I made the template. That was that. And then and I'll show you how I made these. See, it was really complicated and it's difficult to explain. But what I did is I drew that on the big long one that you've seen there. That's all hand drawn on. I scanned it in and I put it all on the PC. Like that, and make sure that it was the same size as I'd made it. So I sized it up, everything sorted. Then what I did, if I can find the right picture, because I have a lot of pieces of paper here. There we go, there it is. I found this image of the almighty God that we know as Google. And that's pretty much got all of the pieces in it. It probably isn't an exact like replica of how her sword looks, but for me it's good enough for me. And I pretty much use this to get the inscriptions that are on their sword. I don't know what they mean. I don't know if anyone does, and I have to be honest, I've been lazy and I haven't researched it. But I've used this as a template, and then I done the very laborious task of, you're gonna love this, scan that in and enlarged every single section of the sword, numbered it, every single freaking one of them, and it took forever, especially. And then the even funner bit, I outlined all of the patterns. Now you can probably see a big thick horrible Sharpie like outline there, and that's what I did. And again, done that for every single one. Then yeah, I scanned in every single one of these separately, and I had to crop every single bit, so I only had like that So I only had like the actual inscription bit for every single section. There's probably many other easy ways to do this, but I'm a bit thick. Well, not thick, but once I have an idea in my head, I like to do it that way or I confuse myself. So whether or not this is the easiest way, it's the Manda way. So I did that for every single piece and scanned them in. And popped them. Then once that was done, what was the next step? Yeah, this is my reference image for the hilt, most likely, and I use this to kind of get the sword right. It's another lovely Google image of an Ivy figure, well, the back of it anyway, and the sword, which I used. Then once all those little sections were scanned in, I copied them all onto these. Well, obviously this was actually on the computer and I didn't copy them in real life, like with pen and paper. But I copied them all over. Bear in mind all of these have been labelled to which section of the sword they are. Copied them all over, put them on the right one, made them all the right size, and eventually, next bit, I ended up with that. And it doesn't look like much, but honest to God, this took way longer than it should have. And the pattern that is on each of these sections is going to be exactly the same on the other side, just because I don't know if there's a pattern on the other side, and if there is, I'm going to assume it's the same. If anyone can correct me, then please feel free to, but to be fair, I don't really care. It's not going to be accurate because, well, let's face it, it's not a real sword anyway, and it's not going to have magic in it, so I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter if it's not 100%. So all those three sections that are on the A4, when they're all cut out and together, they look like that. Well, not like this, but they're this size. That's the size they're all going to be. And it's the size that all of these pieces, when they're laid out together, are. Now, I did actually take some pictures while I was, like, making it, just so I had a few progress shots. And I'm going to put them all at the end, all the decent ones anyway. And you'll see, like, just, like, how big all these pieces are. Then the next bit, oh Jesus, I scanned all of these. Oh, yay! This is all plain card. I might need that. But I scanned all of those. Not scanned, sorry. I printed them again. But this time I printed them on card. Now these are the actual templates I'm going to use for making his sword. Now, an even more laborious task, which is the bit which I'm up to. I've already started it, but I've not finished it. Next task is to do this. Cut out every single inscription. I've already done it for 4 pieces. I have 3 left to do, those 3 there. But as you can see, if I put my hand behind there, like you can see that. My scissors I have at home are nowhere near as sharp as the ones I had in work. So it might take me a bit longer, and I do need to neaten up the edges. But I'm basically going to be doing that for the rest of the 3 pieces. That's my next task, which I'm going to do now. And then, to cut all these sections out so they're like that. The reason I've done it a second time is because this is on card and not on paper. These ones here are just paper. And with the card, it's a lot more durable. And because these are going to be used as a stencil, they're a lot less likely to rip than the paper ones are. And because of how like small these little details are, I don't want to risk it ripping, especially with how much time it's going to take. Plus, they're going to be used quite a few times and have a fair bit of pen on them, so hence doing it again. So yeah, that's pretty much the up-to-date bit of where I'm up to on the construction. This is more like the actual plan for it at the moment. It's not really building the sword, it's more like getting a pattern sorted. So now what I'm doing, I'm going to get all those pieces of paper out of the way, just because I know, knowing me, I'll either lose some or mess them around. And today I had a lovely, lovely shopping trip, and I actually managed to find pretty much everything I needed. Well, at this stage anyway. And I'm going to show you. Now, to make her actual blade, I'm going to be using something called EVA foam, and it's pretty much like if you ever like see a garage or like a warehouse that's got like a really thick, you know, foam flooring that they put like cars on and stuff. It's this stuff. It's called EVA foam. You can pick it up like for what it is, fairly cheap. When I bought this originally, this is actually leftovers I had from a different costume. Not this particular bit. This is just like the offcut that you always get on the edges. But when I originally bought all my EVA foam, it cost me £30. I don't know how many dollars that'd be, but it was £30, and I got I I got 16 sheets, and the sheets are this big. I'm going to show you now. That's how big the sheets are. I got 16 of these for 30 quid. Now you might be thinking that it's a rip-off and it's like really expensive, but considering what it is, it's not too bad, and it's quite thick. So when people like build like mega suits and costumes as well, this is the type of foam that they use. It's called EVA foam. You can buy it on Amazon. You can probably get it in quite a lot of like hardware stores or, you know, like stores like that. It's like, but I had a look around quite a lot of the British stores, and I couldn't find any, so I had to order mine online from Amazon. It was £30 for my set. You can get it cheaper, but you don't get as much, or you can get it more expensive and you get a lot more. So it depends how much you want. And this is what I'm going to be using to make her blade with. Now, obviously, it doesn't look like much quite yet, but it will. This is what, once these templates are cut out, these are all going to get traced onto the EVA foam, and this is what the blade is going to be made out of. So it's going to be soft, so if anyone does get hit by it, it's not going to hurt. And it's quite lightweight, because like even these two pieces, if I use both of these, which I know I won't, I'll use nowhere near that many, but even with both of these, then hit myself on the head. Even if I use both of these, it wouldn't be heavy at all. And you got the handle and all the other stuff that's going to make this sword work. So it's lightweight, it's soft, so it's not going to hurt anyone. And if you do take them to conventions, or they're not going to get, well, it shouldn't get taken off you, because it's going to be, well, it's made out of foam. Come on, like, how can you hurt someone with foam? But that's what the blade is going to be made out of. Now, I already had that, so I didn't buy that today. Amanda's spoils for the day. I'm quite excited because I actually found everything that I was looking for the first time ever. Now, for the actual handle of the sword, I was originally looking for, like, you know, a kiddie's, you can get like £1 or £2 toy swords from cheapo shops. And I was originally looking for one of them that I was going to kind of deconstruct and like use as a base to to build my handle and hilt off. But I ended up finding something much better. I found a broom handle. Now, it's not the most conventional thing people make cosplays out of, but I found a broom handle, and this is what I'm going to be using. Again, this is lightweight. It's made out of plastic, so it's strong, but it's still lightweight. It's not metal. And I will be able to cut this with a junior hacksaw because, well, it should be weak enough to cut with a junior hacksaw. And again, junior hacksaws you can pick up ridiculously cheap from places. So this will be cut with. It does have this weird extendy bit, which I will not need at all. I'm literally going to be using about that much of it, possibly like that much, depending how I'm going to make it. I haven't decided yet. But this is going to be the handle. Next, I have... Well, that's kind of for them. I've shown you they're the main bits of the sword. Like the handle, the blade. And now the next bit I bought is actually equipment to make the blade retract and fall apart. Now, bear in mind, me making this, I've never made this before. And this is everything that I do as a trial run, but I'm normally pretty good when it comes to, you know, guesstimating stuff and figuring stuff out as I go along and working out in my head. But for the actual bit in the middle, because obviously when she whips out a sword, it goes like all like whippy, like, got my cord. This cost me £5 because I got 5 meters and it was pound a meter, and it is ridiculously strong and thick. So I got 5 meters of that because I'll probably only end up using about 2.5 meters, but just in case anything goes wrong, I have this. I also bought lots of these. These are metal washers, which you can get from any hardware store. I got these from Rapid. It was 99p for 10 little metal washers. And they're about the size of your thumb, roughly. They've got a little hole in the middle. And these are what I'm going to be using to stop the blade, like the bits of the sword, going too far or not going far enough. And that's what they're going to be used for. And the best thing of all, which I'm so happy I found, because normally I struggle finding this, but I have magnets. Now, they don't look like much, but these things are the strongest magnets I have ever held. Like, so, like, I'll show you something. See, it's hard to get them apart, but wait, if I do this, I've got a magnet in my hand there. Oh, That wasn't meant to happen. Okay. Magnet in my hand. That's how strong they are. And if I move this one. There. Shit. That, sorry for swearing, but it just stuck, it flung off and stuck to my computer, and I'm really worried about doing that because it can mess up your monitor bad style. But these were actually rather expensive. You get 10 in a pack. They're really small, but they are so ridiculously strong, seriously. Like, majorly strong, as you've just saw. Like, wait, watch this. Here's the washers. Come on. There you go. And they're so stupidly strong. But yeah, you got 10 of those, and it was just under £5 just for 10 magnets. And bear in mind, for the plan that I've got, I need about 30. Just under 30, I think, is how many I'm going to need to do this. So I had to buy 3 packs, and then you come in packs of 10. So I got 1 pack, 2 pack, and my third one there, which I've already opened and had to play with because it was so fun. But so that cost me another £15 just for the magnets. So altogether today, I've spent near about, I'd say about £25-ish. Wait, 15 on magnets, 5 on cord, that's 20. £2 on washers, that's 22. Broom handle, 25. Yeah, about £25 I've spent, and I pretty much have the entirety of what I'm going to need to make the basic sword now. I already own a hot glue gun. That's another thing that I'm going to be using a lot of to make this, is a hot glue gun. I did break mine accidentally, but it's still usable. It just doesn't have a trigger anymore. I can still push the glue through, but it just doesn't have a trigger, so so it's a gun, a glue gun. But it does work, and I'm going to be using that. I already have a lot of glue sticks. I have my foamish of saw. I have an excellent craft knife once I find it. I have space. I have everything I need. I've already made my template, and I'm pretty much good to go to start building it, to be honest. I am going to record pretty much as much of it as I can. As I said, I've already explained all of this, the pattern that I've done. Next stage is for me to cut out the rest of those bits there. There's that one and 2 more to do. And then I'm going to be cutting down those lines there, because this section, this is the middle of the sword, if you haven't already guessed, and I need those bits separate. Once they're cut out, I'm going to be copying them over onto the EVA foam, which I've already shown you, and cutting them all out. I need 2 of every single one of those. So that's the next step, and I'm going to get cracking on with it. Thank you for watching. This is probably going to get uploaded as a separate episode on its own, just because I've spent 20 minutes just talking about it. So this will be a separate episode on its own, and I don't know why I'm saying this at the very end, considering you've just watched the entire video. So no, I'll probably end up putting something right at the beginning, just to say that there's no construction, and it's just kind of a demonstration, if you will, of the things I'm going to be using to make it. So thank you guys for watching. I hope this has been insightful, and that you kind of get the gist of what I'm doing. I am going to show you how I plan to make the sword, retract and stuff, when I get to that bit. But for now, I'm going to be making all the sections for the blade. And yeah, next episode, we're going to be cutting out some blade pieces. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.